talk about how to stay motivated and how to be consistent. So, what I'm going to do is basically what keeps me motivated is having a challenge to draw in my sketchbook every morning and check in on live for 30 days to draw my sketchbook and to check in every morning. Because as a parent of kids that finally sleep through the night, I find that it's much easier, at least when they're not sick, to wake up early before them. I woke up around 5 a.m. and it took me some time to sort of get myself together to, find my sketchbook and all my pencils and everything, my pencil case with my sketch pencils. So my challenge is to wake up every morning and to show accountability by going on live to draw for 30 days every morning, because it's just, it's just time to be consistent. Because finding motivation, I find if you have something to be accountable for, someone to, make you accountable, that helps you to be consistent. And also, I've made up my mind. That's the main part too, making up my mind to be consistent and just to get things done. I guess right now too, sorry for my voice, I'm getting over a cold right now. I'm going to drink a bit of water. Yeah, being consistent and motivated to be consistent, it's really about focusing on what's important. And I want to show that I can be consistent and be successful as an artist. So right now in my sketchbook here, and being someone with neurodiversity, I find this is the perfect size, which I can carry around with me. So in case I have other inspiration, this is very portable. I just got this from the Dollar Tree, something very simple. And the dollar store, Dollarama. I actually got it from Dollarama. But yeah, I found this is the perfect size to carry with me so that I can, if I have an idea as well, I can put it in my sketchbook or write notes in it. Something to keep with me. So that's another important thing to have. But yeah, but back to being a parent and managing my time to stay motivated and being consistent. Just because I guess the age of my kids, if you have younger kids, do what you can with uploading and YouTube and creating videos in between your schedule of when they're having their nap time. But for me, I guess it would be waking up early, going to bed at the same time as the kids are, and just learning to be focused on my goals and waking up early, getting my own breakfast together, and just, that's the main thing, being focused on this is my goal, to wake up early every single morning, draw my sketchbook, and just sign in and just show up every single morning. That is my challenge, my 30-day challenge starting today. So what I'm going to draw, as I chat about being motivated, I'm just going to start with drawing sort of like a warm-up sketch, because right now I'm still waking up. So that's what I'm going to do, just sort of do a warm-up sketch. But yeah, motivation. And part of my motivation of waking up early and getting things done is just, being a parent. I want to also show my kids too that you can be successful at what you want. If you want something out of life, you got to show up every day and to show that you really want something. And that's really important to show that example to your kids. Even for me growing up, that was something I saw, that consistency with my own parents. My mom and dad, they worked very hard and they showed up every morning and they were consistent, you know. They say they're going to show up at a time. They showed up at that time, 10, 15 minutes ahead, sometimes half an hour. Showing up is so important. I'm just drawing random lines right now. But yeah, showing up is so important to being consistent. And being a parent, you know, you have to set those examples. I think that's so important because even I find too, I tell them about what we're going to do for the day and they expect that. So they let me know. I've been sick for the past couple of days and it's been very cold, like deep freeze warnings. And they've been holding me accountable. Hey, we're not doing this because it's been cold warnings. So, but always have someone to keep you accountable for what you want to do, even if you're having like setting up a challenge. That's very important. Something to hold you accountable for. But motivation really comes from, I find, within. That's the way I find it. I have found it. Figuring out what's, you know, what's important. And for some reason, I'm just drawing these lines over and over. I'm doing 2 pages. I don't know. I just want to do those lines as I'm talking about motivation and sticking and just being consistent. If you're hearing the water in the background, I have these aquariums. So yeah. And I guess a little bit about my channel. I like to be about motivation for other artists and parents, if you're a creative. I am a person who is over 40 and I want to start my career as an artist. And I had a career as a graphic designer. And now what happened was I became a stay-at-home mom for a couple years. And now I'm just at the point of starting again. And where my kids are old enough, they're both in school right now and sleeping through the night. That's key. So it's about building up. I'm now about building up my own career. And I'd like to get back to art. And it's sort of like what I found would help me get to this point of being like, I want to pursue art as a career was basically what made me happy when I was 6. That's kind of the question I asked myself. And drawing didn't feel like work, and it's something that I could do all the time. And that's where I kind of drew that inspiration. You know, what was something you did as a young child that brought you so much joy and didn't feel like work? And art. And one thing that's important with art that's not talked about enough is you have to keep practicing that skill. And just like in graphic design too, it's so important to practice the skill of, I find, drawing to express or communicate visually the ideas or concepts that you have. See, this is what I'm trying already as well. I'm going through 2 or 3 pages. And yeah, the skill you have to develop that skill. You can have lots of talent in art, and that's a good place to start, but it's so important to build up skills in drawing and learning. So my channel is all about building up those drawing or painting skills and just getting better every single day. Because again, motivation comes from within and finding out what motivates you. And that's what I'm here for, to show up every single day, draw, get better at drawing for the next 30 days. Excuse me. Because, going through life, I found I've always had to have a reason to do something. And my reason is my family, to take care of my family and to be a good example to my kids, just like my parents were. Showing up when you say so, being consistent, and showing that you care and you respect other people's time. That's so important. I find I hate wasting other people's time, wasting my time. I like to get as much work done and to show that I respect other people's time. That's so important when you are consistent. Things happen. I've been sick for a while. Wintertime, it just happens. And with kids in school, I just knew I was going to get sick. And I'm still, 2 weeks later, I'm still getting over this cold. But that's why only now that I'm better and I can wake up early, that I'm going to do this challenge of waking up early between 5 and 6 a.m. Because as well, with my kids, at least my oldest, wakes up early as well. So my challenge is to wake up before my oldest wakes up, who sometimes wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. So yeah, I need to train myself to wake up before that. And yeah, just go on live, draw, have a little breakfast. I have my breakfast waiting for me. But I don't know, sometimes I'm not that hungry. I just want a bit of like tea to drink and hot tea, because we are just coming to the end of this polar vortex. Yeah. And my tea it just sat down for a few minutes and it's not even hot. That's how cold it is in Canada right now. But that's okay. Winter is important. I like the winter time to get a lot of work done, even in the house, because in the summer we're always going out to the park. So part of what I'm going to be doing today is decluttering. I have a lot of decluttering to do. And yeah, that is very important as well. I use the winter time to get rid of a lot of extra toys, old clothes that doesn't fit my kids anymore. And I can even get the donation people to drive and pick up old items, which is great. So I'll definitely arrange that. Arrange for pickup of donations. I love that service. That's so helpful. But yeah, wintertime, I just find is like getting prepared time, preparing and getting rid of stuff and cleaning up my space. See, this is my other drawing here. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I'm just doing whatever with lines. So these are my few sketches so far. Let's open this up. So here's this book. I've been just drawing away, sort of doodles. That's one page. Just sort of doodling away. And another page. Another page of just doodles, just to wake up my mind. I think the more I wake up, I'll probably draw something more maybe more complex. But I want to spend at least an hour early before the kids just to get myself together and to show up every day early. Because, yeah, I want to be able to share how to stay motivated and build a community of artists and creative entrepreneurs. And yeah, just to like be supportive of each other. Because one thing, being a great creative, finding that creative spark, especially when you age, I used to, that was something my art teacher used to talk about, my high school art teacher. She was the best. Oh, I miss her so much. But she used to always say, too, the older you get, it's sort of harder to find that creativity. And I definitely understand her, being someone in my 40s with, you think about your kids and bills and all kinds of things are on your mind. And sometimes being creative, you kind of have to do a bit of searching for that. So I find the drawing in my sketchbook helps me to get back to that point and helps me draw out that creativity, literally draw it out. It's quiet. I just have all the fish with me, they're awake. And yeah, when it's all quiet and the world is quiet, it's easier to sort of get back into that creative mode and find it again. And drawing helps to do that in my little sketchbook. So yeah, every day do a little sketch or a little doodle. Let your mind just be. And that helps to find that creative thing, that creative spark again, or discover something creative. I find just getting back to a pencil, not being on the computer, that helps a lot. Just to use pencil and paper to draw and to be creative, that brings out the creativity. But yeah, it definitely is more of a challenge, but I always love a challenge. I always love a challenge, and having a purpose, that's so important to me. That keeps me motivated. Having a challenge, having something to be accountable for so that I stay consistent. And those all work together. I guess the secret is to having that mindset, that focus, and just doing it. And finding that purpose. And you can share with me too, what's your purpose? What keeps you motivated? Who's your motivator? And a lot of things too, being motivated is about how can I get better? I want to get better. I want to change. What can I do to change? And the simple thing is just being consistent, making up your mind that every day, this is what I'm drawing, every day I'm going to show up and draw. And yeah, I'm not going to set a major time limit, at least half an hour of drawing. Even 20 minutes, I find that's okay too. Minimum 20 minutes. But the main thing is just waking up before the kids, before the early birds, and just draw. But yeah, it's always good to have a purpose. Excuse me. But motivation, finding that motivation. Sometimes it takes a bit of digging, even just being like, I just want to wake up early. And then you can use that morning time to figure out what your motivation is when the world is quiet and there's less distractions. That's also a good way to find motivation. Mm, yeah, sort of having a quiet moment or playing music that helps you find inspiration, and writing especially. Wake up early and, I use my sketchbook here that I'm drawing right now. I use it also to write notes, little thoughts here and there as well. And that helps to clarify, because sometimes too, I find having sort of those brain dump style notebooks really helps clarify what you want to do in your life and what needs to go, what has to stay, and how to change to be better. Because sometimes being all in your head, it can get crowded and you kind of have to get all that extra baggage now stuff out. And being an artist, I find sometimes you just have to really, even poetry I found helpful. Poetry was something I used a lot when I had lost family members, writing a lot of poetry when I was younger, and my sketchbook helped a lot in processing that. And yeah, that's something that I love about sketchbooks, the clear pages, you can just fill it up with whatever you want. There's no rules about you have to just draw on it. You can write poetry and draw around it. I used to do that a lot, and that was very helpful because sometimes when you have a lot of stuff in your head, writing out in your sketchbook or even finding someone to talk to, a close friend that you trust, is good too. But yeah, use your sketchbook. I love using my sketchbook. It helps me process everything and figure things out. But yeah, and I will have to sign off now because I hear my kids waking up. So it was nice chatting with all of you about motivation, and I'll see you again tomorrow.